And apart from the three independents who were already in the parliament, there are three others who may now play a part in the outcome. Adam Bandt is the new Greens MP for the former Labor seat of Melbourne. He's already in Canberra tonight and is in our Parliament House studio. Tony Crook is the new member for the sprawling rural seat of O'Connor, held for 30 years by Liberal Wilson Tuckey. He's a West Australian national with a strong independent streak whose support is negotiable. He's in our Perth studio. And Andrew Wilkie, as Anthony has just explained, is on a knife edge in his bid to become the new independent member for Denison. He's in our Hobart studio. Now, Adam Bandt, firstly, you obviously haven't let the grass grow under your feet. You're in Canberra already. What happens now?
Well, I had an initial meeting together with Bob Brown and the Prime Minister yesterday, and that was an initial introductory meeting to open up the lines of communication. And I'm hopeful while I'm up here to do a couple of things. One is to continue those discussions, and secondly, to meet and introduce myself to the other independent MPs who are here, who I haven't met before, and they of course have the advantage of being elected and a working relationship with each other and with the old parties, and my hope is to meet with them and discuss issues of mutual interest over the coming days. Now,
you've already expressed the intention of supporting Labor, but how ironclad is that guarantee?
Well, during the campaign, for what is, I think, perhaps the most, probably the most progressive seat in perhaps the most progressive state, a number of people asked who, if we were in a situation where neither party had a majority, who I would support. And my answer to that, which I stick by, is that I want to see not only stable and effective government, but progressive government as well, and that I felt that the best way that that could be delivered is by supporting a Gillard government. What that means, we now need to work out over the coming days, and I also think the responsible thing to do as an MP in this situation is to talk with all other parties and talk with the independents.
OK, well, I'll come back to you in a little while to see whether there are any deal breakers in terms of policy, but I'd like to come to Tony Crook now. Can you explain, Tony Crook, exactly what your relationship is to the federal coalition as a Western Australian national?
Well, Kerry, we clearly went to this election as the Independent Nationals WA. We've got a fantastic track record over here with our Royalties for Regions program, and we requested that the federal government match our Royalties for Regions program dollar for dollar.
Now, what exactly is the Royalties for Regions program?
Well, there's the royalties that are derived from the mining industry, and 25% of those royalties come back into a Royalties for Regions fund that is administered back into regional Western Australia for regional projects. And we'd like to see that matched dollar for dollar by the federal government so that we can advance that project and advance regional Western Australia. OK, so your natural affinity would be, broadly speaking, with the coalition in the way that the Nationals are in the rest of Australia. But would you attend, and as I understand it, at the same time you're saying that you wouldn't attend the coalition party room, but would you attend the National Party parliamentary meetings? What we've said from day one, Kerry, is that if we need to step outside of the coalition, we're prepared to do that. And if we need to step outside of the party room, we'll do the same thing. The Royalties for Regions program is being massively supported in regional Western Australia. We need this extra support. What you've got to remember that if regional Australia prospers, Australia prospers, and quite frankly, we're sick of seeing the Western Australian money shipped to the east for projects in the east, for infrastructure in the east, and that's what we've been asking for.
And is it true that you will sit technically on the cross benches, not with the coalition?
That's correct. I've stated that from day one of the campaign.
But if you're able to reach an agreement with the coalition, does that then guarantee your support automatically on all matters if Tony Abbott were to form a minority government?
No, not at all. I go to Canberra proudly as a member of the WA National Party. What you have to remember is that the Nationals are a federated body, and we're totally autonomous here in Western Australia. We ran this campaign from day one that we are an independent political party. I don't think anybody can be in any doubt in that. You could say that we do have conservative views, but you must remember at the last state election that our WA National Party talked to both sides of politics about forming government, and the numbers didn't work out the way Labor wanted, and that's how they ended up with the power sharing arrangement with the Liberal government. And what you have to remember is the Liberal Party. What you have to remember is that the WA Nationals have delivered a very stable government and an exceptional policy to regional Western Australia that is now legislation. It's set in stone, and regional Western Australia is not the only one benefiting from it, but so is all of Western Australia.
And just very quickly before we come to Andrew Wilkie, as I understand it, a potential deal breaker for you is the mining tax that Labor has promoted. While ever that mining tax is there, you couldn't contemplate supporting Labor in minority government?
That's correct, Kerry. We've campaigned strongly against the mining tax. We've said from day one, we don't need a new tax. We just want a fairer share back to Western Australia. OK. Now, Andrew Wilkie, we know that you're on a knife edge, and this is very much up in the air whether you get to Canberra or not. But if you do, your political background would suggest that you would be more likely to support Labor than Coalition. Is that correct?
No, Kerry, that's not correct. I will support whichever party I am confident can deliver stable, competent and ethical government. I don't believe we've seen stable, competent and ethical government from the Labor Party during the last government, and I'm yet to be persuaded by the Liberal Party, the Coalition, that they can deliver that. So I've got a clean sheet of paper in front of me at the moment, and I'm, obviously the first challenge is to be elected, but then when I start negotiating, I'll give each party a fair go and hear what they've got to say.
Now, will it enter your considerations at all which party has the most number of seats, or if they both end up with the same number of seats, which party has the biggest primary vote or the biggest vote, ultimate vote in two-party preferred terms?
No, Kerry, that won't be particularly important to me. Look, unlike the political parties, which are obsessed with their political self-interest, I'm focused on the public interest here, and I am genuinely keen to support the party that will deliver stable government, competent government and ethical government. Now, that ethical dimension is very important to me. People would be aware of my background speaking out over the Iraq War, and on issues such as asylum seekers, I believe both the Labor Party and the Coalition have unsatisfactory policies.
So how will you benchmark ethics? I mean, I would imagine if you do get into the Parliament, then both parties will be very keen to assure you of ethical behaviour, but ultimately you're going to have to take someone on trust, aren't you? And then what do you do? Do you vote issue by issue? If the party that you agree to support in the first instance is suddenly guilty of what you regard as unethical behaviour, do you remove your support?
The party, if I'm elected, the party I support will only be assured that I won't block supply and that I won't support any reckless no-confidence motion. Beyond that, it's all up for grabs, and I will look at every piece of legislation, every issue, and assess them on its merits. I think it's self-evident what is reasonable ethical behaviour and what isn't, and any acts of lying and so on, I won't accept that, and I won't support legislation in that regard. OK. Now,
Adam Bandt, assuming that you reach a formal agreement with Labor, and Labor then forms a minority government, who knows what other elements they're going to need in the wash-up to do that. But if they do, is that ironclad, or is there the potential for deal-breaking policies, a policy that the Greens might be vehemently opposed to? Do you then vote against that? Do you reserve the right to vote against Labor legislation?
Well, at the moment, there's nothing on or off the table. We haven't reached that stage of discussions yet, but it's. I went to the election wanting to put forward our own independent legislative agenda in Parliament on asylum seekers, fairer and more compassionate treatment, removing discrimination in the Marriage Act against same-sex couples, and of course moving quickly to put a price on carbon. And they're issues that during the course of this Parliament I will want to pursue.
Is it feasible that when the three independents from New South Wales and Queensland who have been re-elected sit down to have discussions with you, and they too are trying to work out who is going to best provide stable government, I wonder to what extent they will feel that they can count on you to assist in providing stable government if they're seriously considering the Labor option.
Well, I'm looking forward to meeting them for the first time tomorrow, and I think until then it's premature to have those discussions.
Okay, well, we've still got a very, very long way to go, and obviously a lot of imponderables, but thanks very much to the three of you for at least having this preliminary discussion with us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Kerry.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kerry.